Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, and I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. If you are enjoying this show, you should also check out the Premier Voice Podcast, hosted by myself, Aaron Kintok Sands, the Star Rider Rod, and Long Live the Chief Mighty Mal, where we discuss many topics within the culture, from music, love, relationships, sex, politics, and many more. We could make you laugh, but the show could also get a little raunchy and may not be for everybody. But if you're willing to take that risk, check out the Premier Voice Podcast every Wednesday, a part of the Premier Powerverse. Other show you could check out on the Premier Powerverse is King Talk with Aaron Sands, hosted by Aaron King Talk Sands every Friday at 12 p.m. Star Time Podcast hosted by the Star Rider Rod every Monday at 12 p.m. And Welcome to the Trilogy hosted by Long Live the Chief Mighty Mal every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Listen and support on every show in the Premier Powerverse. Thank you for listening to this message and enjoy the show. You are now listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Season 8. Chill! Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, 1/4 of the Premier Boys Podcast, and your host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And welcome to another new episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Hope all is well. And happy Valentine Day to everybody out there, from the couples, from everybody who is taken, for everybody who is married, to even to the single folks. And if you're looking for love, happy Valentine Day to you as well. And if you got somebody who you want to be with, shoot your shot to that person and let them know how you feel about them. You know, today is that day to do it. Even though Valentine's Day is all year round, happy Valentine's Day to all the couples, and do something nice to the one that you love. So you already know what I do for Valentine's Day. I will update y'all on my relationship status and many more. And y'all already know what to do. Sit back, relax, and I'll be right back.
My name is Imani, and you're now listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, it's time for Mr. Gentleman Facts quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is, no matter what, a relationship go both ways. And I say this because in order for a relationship to work, y'all gotta work together to make it work. It's no one-sided relationship. If a relationship is one-sided, then it would not work out. It just don't only go for a relationship; it go for friendships as well. So always remember, no matter what type of relationship that it is, it always go both ways, because that's how communication works. And that is today, Mr. Gentleman Facts quote of the day. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, and I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And this commercial break is brought to you by Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. On Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, we interview many guests about their life journey, pretty much where they come from and where they at now. Also promoting their brands or whatever they're doing at the time they come on the show. We also have the host talk about personal stories about himself and everything that he's been through. And also we have fun conversation about anything music, anything old school, relationships, wrestling, and many more. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays at 12 a.m. We are also on every Thursdays at 12 p.m. for Spin-Off Series Thursdays, where we have all of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Pocket Spin-Off Series all in one day, where we have a conversation about music podcasts every first Thursday at 12 p.m. The Old School Show with myself and the Star Riding Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And we have Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursdays at 12 a.m. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, The Pods, and many more. Or y'all can check it out on the official website of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com, and tune in every Sundays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in to this commercial break of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Cheer!
Hey everyone, it's Angelica from A Little Bit of Everything with Me podcast, and you're listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and rate his podcast, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And at this time, y'all know what today is. Today is Valentine Day, and y'all already know what I do on the Valentine Day episode. I discuss where I'm at in my relationship status. And before we dive into that, what is the meaning of love? Love is a strong feeling of warm personal attachment or deep affection, such as for a parent, child, friend, pet, or another person. A profound, tender, passionate affection often mingled with sexual desire for another person. Active, self-giving concern for the well-being of others. A person towards who love is felt. Yeah. Love is definitely an amazing feeling when it's with somebody that you really care about. But love does hurt as well, because that same person who you will fall so heavy for can hurt you in ways that you can't sometimes heal from. And it could hurt, depending on the person. Have I ever been in love? Yes, I have been in love. I've been in love twice my entire life. One time in 2007 and another time 2014. And when I met my first love in 2007, I met her on MySpace. Then I met up with her, and her initial first appearance of me, that she didn't like me like that. So after that, we decided to be friends. So I decided to date other people. She decided to date other people until one day, she started having feelings for me, and we decided to give it a try. So in November of 2007, we made it official. And we were together on and off for a good two years. But the relationship itself, we had a lot of great moments, but we also had a lot of bad moments as well. During that time, I didn't have no backbone. So whether verbal abuse or anything like that, I just took it, the disrespect and everything. I just took it to the point that I just stayed in that relationship to continue to make it work, even while not getting treated the way that I deserve. And I can admit, back then, I didn't know my worth. I mean, I was young. I was young back then, of course. I didn't know my worth. I was young. But one thing that taught me about that relationship is that you should always know your worth. Make sure you put yourself first, and never stay in a situation where you are disrespected. And even after the relationship ended, I started dating other people, and I ended up going back to her because that was something I was familiar with and something that I really was in love with the girl. But sometimes you just have to put yourself first because nobody deserves to be in a relationship where you are feeling less than yourself, when you're feeling disrespected, and everybody deserves happiness. So that was from 2007 to 2009, and then tried again after, and I officially ended it 2011. After that, I just stayed single for a very long time until 2014 when I met the second girl I fell in love with. And how I met this girl was we was in the club. I was promoting the Oscar during this time, and I see this girl, and we are dancing and stuff like that. And I asked her for a number at the end of the night, and she told me no because she had a man. Her man was over there. I just told her that your guy is a lucky guy. Have a good night. As I walked away, she stopped me and she gave me the number. And the thing was, after the club, I thought she was drunk, so I went home just to say, "Hope you had a good night and hope you got home safe." Just like normal, to check on people. And I didn't hear from her, so I moved on. The next day in the morning, I got the text. She told me me and her started talking. I know in the back of my mind, I knew that she had a man. In the back of my mind, I knew she had a man. And I know that it was it the right thing? I know the situation could go really wrong, but I was just so curious to get to know because the vibe between me and her was just so amazing. So I just took the risk and just started dealing with her. As me and her went on 3 dates, she ended up breaking up with the person. And the relationship was good. It wasn't great to the point where she was still friends with the person she broke up with. It was feeling like I was just the side guy where I never met her friends, I never met her family. And it was just me and her was always just together individually. But everybody still knew about the other person. And, that relationship hurt because I was number 2 in that relationship. And I felt like I would just settle in because I had strong feelings for her. As time went on, 8 months later, because me out there with this person for 8 months, she had an ultimatum to choose between me and the other person, and she ended up choosing another person. And I ain't gonna lie, that relationship hurt because I put my all into something, knowing that she was also half feeling for somebody else, and I was hoping, in my case, the situation changed. And obviously, that's my fault for put myself in that situation in the first place because I knew I deserved better. I deserve better. I deserve to not be somebody number 2, knowing she has somebody else on the side. And what I learned in that relationship was that never be number 2 to anybody, and always know your worth. Always know your worth and love yourself. And I know one thing. I told myself one thing that I would never put myself in that type of situation ever again. And I stick to that word. I stick to that ever since. So put yourself first and never put yourself in that type of situation and never be number 2 to anybody. So as time went on, I was single for between 2015 to 2020. A lot of my relationship after that was very short-lived, but less than a month. Some of them were just people I was just dating. We dated exclusively, but it never went anywhere after that. But then I decided to finally get back into dating again. So in 2020, since we were in the pandemic, it was hard to communicate. I started to to go on dating apps to start meeting somebody. And as I'm on, these apps and stuff like that, I met two people on there. One of them I met earlier that year, 2020, and we were talking, and the connection with this person was so amazing. Went on one date with her, and it was a really good date. As time went on, she just disappeared. And she disappeared because I honestly think she found somebody closer to her, because at the time when dealing with this person, I was in New York and she was in Jersey. And, it wouldn't work out anyway, especially in the pandemic. And she just disappeared. But it was another person I met on Hinge, later that year. And I got to know the person. We decided to give it a try. One thing about this relationship was that it was more of a pandemic relationship, so we couldn't really go to places, restaurants that were too close. So the element was completely different than what I usually used to. And this relationship lasted from February 2021 to August. And this relationship was really good at first. We was in the honeymoon phase for a very long time. Until one day, something just changed. Something was just different about this one. It just like it was a side of her that I never really saw. And it was to the point that that side of this person really turned me off, to the point that she was being disrespectful. She was just very rude. And as time went on, that relationship never really recovered after that. And honestly, I feel like after I started seeing her true colors, I checked out early in the relationship. Like my mind checked out from the relationship, but I was physically still trying to make it work. And as time started to get really worse, I decided to just end it, because I knew they wasn't gonna get better. And on top of that, I started to deal with a lot of things in my personal life, add on into this relationship. And I said to myself, I knew this wasn't gonna work, because it's already a lot going on, and I just knew that it wasn't gonna work out. So I decided to end it. And honestly, ever since then, from August 2021 to now, I've been single. I've been single for almost 4 years now. And I felt like being single now, I felt like it was the best choice, because for a majority of the time, I was pretty much working on myself. I was going through a lot of things, depression, other things in my life. And I knew during that time I wasn't ready to start getting into anything else. Because if I know I'm not ready to get into something, how am I supposed to do that for another person? And I felt like being single for a long period of time was pretty much the best decision, because I learned more about myself. I learned more about my wealth. I learned more for what I deserve, and I know what I want to get to the other person. And I don't want to get with somebody until I know I could give the other person what she deserves. But one thing different now in the year 2025, that it wasn't in the last couple of years, that I am ready to get back out there and give it another try. Yes, I have been on dates recently, and I have been talking to people now. And of course, it still haven't worked out, but just because it didn't work out doesn't mean it would not work out with somebody else. And plus, dating this generation is completely different than it was before 2020. So me trying to adjust in this new generation, dating been really difficult. But I still hopeful that it's the right person out there when the time is right. Of course, with me, it's no rush. I'd rather be at a better place than I just get with anybody and it just won't work out because I'm not at a place where I could be a provider. I could be the household. I could be, be the person support. I could be a listener, and I want to give that to the next person I end up with. Because I ain't gonna lie, I do want to eventually get married. I do want to have kids in the future when that person comes. But yeah, so I am single, and I am ready for that next person to come in my life. Of course, I'm not looking, but if that person comes and I know it's the right person, I know that person will come. And I just want to say to everybody who having a hard time believing in love and having a hard time waiting for that right person to come, just work on yourself first before the next person coming into your life. Because when you work on yourself first, and when that right person come into your life, when it's the right time. Also, just because a relationship don't work out doesn't mean it's the end of the road for you. It only means that it just don't work out with that person, and only preparing you for the next person, whoever comes into your life next. And yes, I do believe in love. I do believe in love because my parents been married for 43 years, and they give me hope. I have friends right now who is married, who made 1 year anniversary in their marriage, and it give me hope that the right one is out there. So yeah, just know that your time is coming. You just have to wait on it. And there's no need to rush. Everybody keeps saying that, they need to get married right now. They need to have a kid right now, which I understand. But it's better to give you the right person to give you, to marry and to have kids with than to have the wrong person to have marry and kids with, because you're going to regret it. So what I'm saying to you is your time is coming. Just be patient and just continue to work on you. So when that right person does come, you know for a fact that you are ready and you will get the happy ending that you deserve. And I'll be right back. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman. Now, I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, and this commercial break is brought to you by Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Spin-off Series Thursdays. And Spin-off Series Thursday is the new home for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Spin-off Series that brought to you shows like A Conversation About Music Podcast, The Old School Show, and Date Night Talk Podcast. And A Conversation About Music Podcast is a music spin-off series where we talk about anything music, from the current music scene and the old school music scene, where we interview many guests that's in the music industry and artists about their music journey. We have a segment game called The Face Off, which is a versus inspired game, and we have roundtable discussion about variety of music topics. And y'all can check out A Conversation About Music Podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Now, the Old School Show that featured myself and the star Roddy Rod is a show where we discuss anything old school, from music, TV shows, movies, and many more. We also bring in guests to join in on the old school conversation. Y'all can check out the Old School Show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. Every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And last but not least, we have Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B, where we talk about anything relationship related topics like love, dating, relationships, cheating, the good and the bad, and many more. And y'all can check out this spin-off series, Date Night Talk Podcast, every second and third Thursday at 12 p.m. So look out for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Presents Spin-off Series Thursday, a conversation about music podcast every first Thursday. The Old School Show with myself and the Star Riding Rod every fourth Thursdays, and Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursdays. And y'all can check out Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays for the main series and every Thursday for spin-off series Thursdays. And thank y'all for checking out this commercial break. And now back to your regularly scheduled program. True! I just want to take the time to thank everybody for tuning into this latest episode of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Happy Valentine Day to all the couples out there. If you're married in a relationship, if you're somebody that you want to get with, shoot your shot with that person. And if you're single, happy Valentine's Day for you as well. Just take this time to focus on yourself, because you know that right person will come. And y'all already know where y'all can catch the Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays for the main series, and every Thursday for spin-off series Thursday, where we have shows like Conversation About Music Podcast every first Thursday at 12 p.m. Date Night Talk Podcast with myself, Miss Vanna B, every second and third Thursday at 12 p.m. and the Old School Show with myself and the Star Rider Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 p.m. New season of spin-off series Thursday shows, a conversation about music podcast in May, the Old School Show with myself and the Star Rider Rod in June, and Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B, February 20th. Save those dates and look out for all new season of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Presents Spin-off Series Thursday lineup. You could check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and many more. Y'all can rate the show 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Podchases. The more y'all rate the show, more people know about Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. If you want to be a guest on Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, send me a bio about yourself, everything that you do to my email, YPGENT@gmail.com, or hit me up on social media, Ken_Mr. Gentleman, R.E.P. Ken, Ken, _Mr. M.R. Gentleman, GENTLEMAN, and we can set something up. I'm still looking for guests for the second half of season 8 and season 9 of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. You could also check me out on the Premier Voice Podcast with myself, Aaron Kito Sands, the Star Rider Rod, the Long Live Chief Mighty Mound. New episodes of the Premier Voice Podcast every Wednesday at 12 p.m. New episode of the Premier Boy Podcast every Wednesday at 12 p.m. A part of the Premier Powerverse Network. Other shows in the Premier Powerverse Network is check out all episodes of King Talk with Aaron Sands, hosted by Aaron King Talk Sands right now. His new shows At the Hours with Aaron Sands coming soon. Check out all episodes of Star Time Podcast hosted by the Star Rider Rod right now. New episodes coming real soon. And check out Welcome to the Trilogy hosted by Long Live the Chief Mighty Mal. New episodes coming real soon. Listen and support every show in the Premier Powerverse Network. And y'all already know what time it is. Time for everybody's favorite segment. It's time for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Shout Out. Well, we shout out 4 to 5 shows and we give them their flowers. Last week, we shout out 4 shows last week. My Survivor's Voice the podcast, at Michelle Podcast, The Zaya Show, and Confident Cafe. Check out those 4 shows that we shout out last week. And this week, we shout out 4 new shows. And since this is Valentine's Day weekend, we will be shouting out 4 shows that is related to relationships. The first show that we're going to talk about is Marriage Worth It? The 2 women pretty much interview many guests and talk about, their relationship goals and is marriage worth it? And this is a really good relationship show. Y'all should definitely check this show out. The next show that y'all should check out is Listen to Your Single Friends. She is a award-winning podcast show and pretty much talk about everything relationship related. Definitely check this show out. Next show we're going to talk about is Dating Will Be the Death of Me, hosted by Amanda. And this show pretty much talk about her dating experience, and she interviewed other guests talk about their dating experience. She was on my show, and y'all should definitely check out Dating Will Be the Death of Me. This is a really good show. And last show we're going to talk about is the Oak Podcast, hosted by Abby. And this is a really good show as well. She did interview many guests about everything from relationship and other topics. And she talked about her personal experience as well, from her life, her relationship, her mental health, and many more. Check out the show as well, the Oak Podcast. Check out the 4 shows that we just mentioned for Mr. Gentleman, like the shout outs. Is Marriage Worth It? Listen to Your Single Friends. Then Will Be the Death of Me, and the Oak Podcast. And that is this week, Mr. Gentleman, like the shout outs. And of course, I'm on Good Pods, Ken, Mr. Gentleman. You already know Good Podcast, the many independent podcasts that you can see where everybody listens to. We can rate each other's shows, and we have the charts. And of course, we got the Mr. Gentleman Like That Achievement, where we spotlight everything Mr. Gentleman Like That podcast is doing. Of course, we got the Good Pod charts for Top 100 show. We are number 6 for Top 100 shows on the normal charts, and number 4 on the indie charts for Society and Culture. We were number 1 for 23 days, but we dropped to number 2 on the Noble charts, but we are still number 1 on the indie charts. And for Personal Journal, we are still number 1. We've been number 1 for 25 days. So thank you everybody that continue to listen to Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast of Good Pods. Shout out to Feed Spot for having us on their charts for the top 35 Gentleman podcast. And check out feedspot.com. Check out Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast on all podcast platforms. And of course, check out the official website of Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlikethepodcast.com. You can listen to every episode of Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast. You can watch every video from Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast. You can watch it on the website, or you can check out the YouTube channel. Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast on YouTube. Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast on YouTube. Check out every guest who came on Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast. All 75 guests who came on Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast. Check out all my guest appearances that I've been on. I have a guest appearance coming from Visit Vegas Places with Coral coming later this month, so look out for that. And check out the official merch store from Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast, www.tpublic.com. Search Mr. Gentleman Like the store. We have shirts, hoodies, mugs, and many more. Support the merch store so we can upgrade your listening experiences. Check out the official merch store from Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast, www.tpublic.com. Search Mr. Gentleman Like the store. And check out the official website from Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlikethepodcast.com. Once again, thank you everybody who check out the latest episode of Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast. Once again, happy Valentine's Day to everybody, and happy Black History Month. And we do celebrate Black History Month. We're not going to stop. You already know. Next week on Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast, we have another new episode of Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast. Another top 20 countdown show. We are counting down part 3 of our favorite movie, and we got Jalen back on the show. Look out for that episode. And we got a special announcement. at the end of the episode. So look out for that. Have a good day or night, wherever you're listening to this episode.
Hi, this is Amanda from Dating Will Be the Death of Me, and you are listening to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.